Hey folks, Princess Davy here, coming at you with a real quick movie review. This time I'm going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the recent reboot requel that was released over on Netflix. I am going to be spoiling some things, but I'm going to give a real quick spoiler-free review if that's what you're interested in. There will be like a spoiler warning, it'll make more sense in a second, okay? But anyway, my general thoughts of the movie is it's not for me, okay? I love reboots, remakes, requels. I know that probably lost some of you already. You're probably like, downvote, like, I'm done watching the video. But I am generally normally I like reboots or remakes because one of the things I like about art or movies or comics are other artists' interpretations of the same character, folklore, or story. I like to see the different versions. I like to see the iterations. I like to see what each artist adds to that story to make it their own. That's just something I personally like. So normally I go into every reboot, requel, things like that with an open mind, like ready to love it. And I just didn't love this movie, okay? I feel like it had some really good ideas, but poor execution. Like I feel like it really leaned into the word massacre and it delivered an extremely visceral and gory film that at the same time felt too clean for me, too produced, and that's why I just wasn't a fan. Okay, like one of the reasons I liked the original was because a lot of the violence and a lot of the horror and the things that were happening to the characters weren't shown on screen. We saw reactions, there were cutaways, we heard noises. Like they did a lot of things where we didn't directly see the violence or massacre that was happening in front of us. This movie does the opposite and shows you everything. So I'm just saying, if you're someone who's not into extremely gory films, I would just skip this one. I'm not saying that that's bad. Like that's not a reason why I didn't like it. Why I like it gets really specific into spoiler territory. So I'm just letting you know now. I have to start spoiling things. So spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Because a lot of the reason I did not like this film was because of the production, okay? Because it felt too clean. One of the reasons I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's one of my favorite films, just in general, not even just horror films, films. Like if you ask me one of my favorite movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of the reasons for that is because it feels so real. It feels so dirty. And it feels like a film that was like actually archived. Someone just took it and picked it up and like, hey, we found this really horrifying movie. You should watch it. It felt gritty. It felt rough. And then even the 2003 reboot, it had an aesthetic to it. It felt sweaty. It felt sticky. It felt like a summer in the middle of Texas. And then one of the layers in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that it can happen to anyone. Like this can happen to anyone. It's so raw and so real. It can happen to anyone. With this new reboot, it was like, no, it was very specific to what the characters were, what archetypes they were, who they were, rich people. And then it gave us a reason to feel bad for Leatherface. Like it made us, at least it made me, like, okay, well, they were kind of in the wrong, and Leatherface is kind of justified in his feelings, not in his reaction, because, like, you shouldn't kill people because your mom died and they took your house, they bought your house. But, like, it's just weird because the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, while you might end up feeling things for the villain, the bad guys, you're not really supposed to. Like the people that stumble upon the family are just regular people. They're on their way to a concert. They're on their way home from whatever. Like they are not there to be bad. They're not there to take anything away from Leatherface, from the Sawyer family or Hewitt family, whatever iteration you're going with. This one, it gave us a reason, and then the rest of the film, it showed us all the violence, and then it felt super clean. Like, I know that's hard to describe without having watched the movie, but like a perfect example of it is when they reintroduce like Sally Hardesty, like the character who survived from the original film. She's holding onto a Polaroid, okay, and it's supposed to be the Polaroid that the character, the hitchhiker, burned in the original film. So, continuity mess up aside, she still has this photo that we thought was burned, and it's perfect. It is so clean. It is so clean. Like, it is like they just took the photo and then put it up in her visor. But we're supposed to believe that she's held on to this thing since the 1970s. And you know, some people are probably going to come at me and show me how they have pristine Polaroids. But I'm just saying, like, the how clean it was is an example of how rest of the movie felt so clean. The blood felt clean. The rain, the literal rain that starts pouring down, felt clean. Even in the there's a scene where the girl gets covered in poop, and I was still like, too clean. Like, it's not, nope, not enough poop. Like, not enough reaction to the poop. Like, I don't know, I just didn't believe that it was poop, even. Like, the characters' reactions, maybe that's what it was. I'm not trying to knock any of their performances, but, like, maybe it could be that the characters just weren't reacting to the horrors in a way that I felt believable. Not all of them, just some of them, at least the main characters. And then it leads to the end, you know, with the reactions and the disconnect, and again how it felt like a very different movie. You know, instead of watching teens who stumble upon this horror, we're watching these rich kids try and start a new life and like take things away from this family. And at the end of it, they're literally giggling and laughing their way to the car, and they're like, haha, oh my gosh, all these people just died. There's literally a bus full of dead bodies right over there. Wasn't that so fun? And they start driving off, and the one girl gets taken out of the car. She gets massacred, and then, you know, Leatherface does his infamous dance. And I'm just sitting there like, did I watch a comedy? Did I watch like a horror meta film that's supposed to be like Scream? It just, I don't know who the target audience was after watching it, but I do know it wasn't me. Okay, like this just I know people liked the film. I see a lot of it getting rave reviews. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's just not for me. Like, it feels like someone got the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and had their own ideas and then tried to infuse bits from the original into it because requels like, you know, Halloween and stuff like that and Scream are popular right now, so they wanted to do that. And I just, that it to me, it was noticeable and jarring. And I, you know, I shouldn't be thinking those. I should be watching the film and enjoying it. I shouldn't be pulling off and being like, was this a different script? Did they start with a different idea and then someone's like, hey, we got the rights to Leatherface, let's make it that, you know? Because it's just, that's what my brain was going the entire time. So yeah, that's it. That's my honest review of the recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let me know if you liked it, because, I mean, again, I'm not saying I didn't like it. It was fun. I was enjoying it all the way. I mean, I was kind of having fun with bits and pieces of it. You know, there were some good moments until that ending pulled me out, and then it ruined the whole thing. I was like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. Okay, but yeah, that's it. Love you. Have a good one.